Well, Compass continues, and as promised before the break, we are about 260 meters off of Mount Edward Road in Charlottetown. You are looking at the pit in which Rogers wants to build its new cell phone tower. This pit and this tower have been the source of much controversy over the past couple of days and the source of a protest today here on Mount Edward Road in Charlottetown. One of the protesters is Hugh Mullally, kind enough to be with us here tonight on Compass. Why are you and your team so against this?
Well, there's a few issues. The primary concern is the health effects surrounding the intensity of the radiation that's given out by a cell tower. Also is the property values of the surrounding properties here, as well as the image of the cell tower, which will be very ugly on the landscape here.
When you say property values, it's simply the idea of not having a big tower in your backyard?
Certainly, and as we are certain to find out in the years to come, and as the research gets more publicly known about the health effects of these, people will not want to own property near these cell towers.
I want to ask you about those health effects because Health Canada says, hold on a second here, these things don't cause as much trouble as you people would have us believe. What is your response to that?
I would respond with the fact that European countries and countries all over the world have standards which are 10,000 times more restrictive in terms of the intensity of levels, of the radiation levels. It's a low frequency ionizing and non-ionizing energies that are of concern, that need to be studied more. They change the nature of the human cell is a fact. This has been documented by researchers at Boston and Harvard universities, and it is a real concern, and it is something that is a matter of time before we find out the full effects. And I would just mourn the day that we find out, man, we shouldn't have built that cell tower there. We have all these problems because of it.
So it's your belief then that Health Canada standards simply aren't high enough?
That is correct.
One thing, Hugh, that a lot of people are saying, it's the 21st century and everybody, I know you don't, but I say everybody has a cell phone and towers have to be built. I mean, how do you stop progress?
Well, we're not against the cell phones. You can't take away cell phones. They have revolutionized our lives, our society, our work, the way we work. We're not trying to get rid of cell phones. We do want the technology to be further researched to make it safer. We want to have some responsibility and some accountability by the powers that be, those be the government. And we also want some accountability on behalf of Rogers and Eastlink, who is leasing them this land, to think about the community impacts and the community wants and desires of this land, and we do not want something that is microwaving everything within 500 meters.
So you're dead against cell phone tower technology. I mean, this could go anywhere and it would upset you and your group?
Certainly. It's another cell tower. Why do we need another cell tower? So 50 more or 100 or 500 more teenagers can text each other during school? Or so 1,500 more people can buy a cell phone and say, hey, I'll be there in 5 minutes? Again, the argument here isn't against the utility and the practicality of cell phones. I think they've earned a place within our society and economy that we have become dependent on. And so to reverse that, I think would be unrealistic. But what should be realistic is to get these companies that invest millions of dollars to say, look guys, why don't you get some technology that we know is safe?
One last question for you. Rogers is a communications giant, a very big company in this country, and you're a group of 10 to 20 protesters here on Mount Edward Road in Charlottetown. What's your reasonable hope for this?
Well, 10 to 20 protesters turned to 40 or 50 this morning, and we're getting a lot of support from people passing by, a lot of comments, but also a few negative comments as well, which doesn't get me down. It just means that people think we want to take their cell phone away, and that's not the case. We just want some accountability. Industry Canada can say what they want, but we are Sherwood, we are Charlottetown, we are Prince Edward Island, and we have said no, and that matters. And that's what we've shown today, and that's what we want to get shown again and again and again.
And so you're back out here tomorrow, for instance?
You got it.
Okay. Listen, thank you for the time tonight.
You're welcome.
Hugh Mullally, one of the protesters here in Charlottetown, just off of Mount Edward Road. We take a break now on Compass as we do so. Here are the day's top stories from cbcnews.ca.